My fellow countrymen, today many of you sit uneasy. There is a worry beneath our politics, a fear that our votes may not count, or worse, that someone unqualified may cancel out our own voice. Some say fraud is growing. Others fear being pushed out, unseen by their own government. It feels as though the ground under our democracy is shifting. But let me say at the start, history has seen this before. The Republic can be saved, and not all news is black and white. So let us take a steady look together. Picture a small town just after dawn, an American flag moving in the chilly breeze, and the sun touching the roof of a shut-up school gym. Imagine a caretaker setting up voting booths in that quiet as the first light spills in. He lays out paper ballots, not knowing if turnout will be high or low, but hoping, as most do, that people will trust the process and show up. Now, before us stands the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, the Save America Act. Put forward by President Trump and House Republicans, it asks something simple on its face. That before you register to vote in a federal election, you have to show proof. Some document to say you are a U.S. citizen. Not only that, but for in-person voting, everyone must show government photo ID. Want a mail-in ballot? You'll need a copy of your photo ID then too. Election officials who make a mistake, who register someone by accident without the right paper, could face criminal charges. States themselves, they're now ordered to keep lists, and those lists must cut out every non-citizen they can find. The White House says this is about making sure only American citizens decide American elections. And many Americans nod along. Polls say most folks trust voter ID rules. The talk is about election integrity, protecting the sacred vote. Yet others, voting rights groups, legal scholars, raise their voices in worry. They point out that about 21 million citizens, our neighbors and yours, don't have quick access to a passport or birth certificate, or maybe lost it long ago. For them, this law, however well meant, may slam the door on their right to vote. Pause for a moment and think of a kitchen table at night. A grandmother, hands rough with time, searches an old tin box for her birth certificate. There is no one to call, no one to help. It is just her and the cold paper of the law. What happens to her voice if she cannot find the right piece of paper? Think of a family, new to the country years ago, who became citizens the hard way, by study, by oath, by hope. They voted last year, feeling part of something larger than themselves. If these new requirements come fast, and their documents are stuck in a government office far away, how do they prove they belong? This is not imagination. By one count, about 9 in 100 citizens could lose their say. Now the law's supporters say, it's about prevention. Don't wait for fraud to be everywhere. Stop it at the start. Yet the record tells us federal law already bans non-citizen voting. Independent checkers, audits in Georgia, Michigan, found hardly more than a handful of wrong ballots out of millions. Is the danger truly as large as some think, or has fear grown larger than the truth? Civic faith is not just a matter of slogans, it is the lifeblood of a republic. The men and women who fought and died, at Gettysburg, at Normandy, in distant fields whose names most of us forget, believed their country could trust itself. None of them asked the man beside them for a birth certificate. They fought so their children might decide their own fate, side by side, equal before the law. Now, election law is not a mere technicality. It is the bridge between the power held by a few and the voice of every many and woman. This bridge has always rested on two stones, security and inclusion. If we remove either one, the whole structure may fall. Let us remember, America's strength is her unity, and that means a trust between citizens and the state, and among citizens themselves. To build confidence, yes, we need rules. But rules without heart become chains. Picture an old courthouse just before noon, the flag hanging limp outside, and a handful of people waiting on wooden benches. They are there to register, to do their lawful duty. One fumbles in her purse, looking for an ID she cannot find. A kind clerk helps search, but the law demands more, and the line slows and tempers fray. The Save America Act asks whether federal power should reach into every county, every clerk's office, every kitchen table in the land. Our founders gave states the first say on elections, for states know their neighbors best. The Constitution made us one, but not the same. To override that balance, especially without clear, present need, is to risk the harmony that the law is meant to guard. We must grant this to the Act's defenders. The people have been shaken. Claims of stolen votes and rigged numbers, whether true or not, have made millions doubt the scoreboard. To ask for some proof, some honest check, is not evil in itself. Yet reason demands proportion. We must not make the cure worse than the disease. If the rules bar good citizens in the drive to stop a few, are we still true to our promise? History has seen moments like this. After the Civil War, men once denied the vote were finally counted, at great cost and great hope. Then, over years and in the dark, poll taxes and literacy tests crept in, not with trumpets, but with paperwork, and many found themselves suddenly unwelcome. We must not, by a new set of papers, even meant with good hearts, return to the mistakes of the past. At this point, you may find yourself asking, where is the line? How do we keep the vote honest without shutting out those who belong? Imagine a school gym, late afternoon, sunlight falling through basketball nets, as a teacher explains to new citizens how to vote. They listen carefully, some nervous, some proud. Their hands shake as they touch the sample ballot. This is a scene as American as any parade, any Christmas morning. Let us carry forward, then, from the teacher and the new citizens, and gaze across this country. Its small towns and crowded city streets, its quiet mountain valleys and far-off farm roads. Picture a family gathered in a living room one evening, the television casting blue light over tired faces. The news is full of sharp words, claims that the system is broken, counterclaims that all is fair. The youngest child asks, "Will my vote count someday?" The mother, uncertain but loving, promises, "Yes, in this country everyone's voice matters." In moments like these, our laws become living things within the hope and worry of our people. Think of the election worker in a tiny county hall. She checks her list again and again to ensure every citizen gets their chance. Her eyes are tired, her sense of duty strong. The law, sweeping down from Congress, shapes her task, but she is the face the voters will remember. She carries out her charge with care, knowing each name is someone's right, someone's stake in the great experiment of self-rule. Now let us be honest about the dangers on both sides. Too little care can invite mischief. Too much caution, turned rigid, invites injustice. The Republic walks its hardest mile here, between suspicion and trust. Some will say, better to turn one honest man away than to let in one cheat. Others say, better 100 go free than one good soul be silenced. I tell you this, both are half-truths. America's virtue lies in balance. We defend the law, not to harm the innocent, but to guard the whole people's chance to decide together. History has seen this before. After the Civil War, then as now, fear and hope mingled. Some declared new rules to keep peace. Others felt those rules crept like vines to strangle freedom. Bit by bit, progress came only when ordinary citizens pressed for both honesty and inclusion, when they refused to let fear alone choose our future. Imagine for a moment the end of a long election day. In a school gym now empty, the last ballot drops into the box. A teen volunteer, not old enough to vote herself, sweeps the floor. She looks up at the flag, quiet in the dusk, and wonders what America will look like when she is grown. Her hope rests on whether we protect her future voice, not just our own. The Save America Act, as written, could shape millions of lives. Its rules intended to keep non-citizens from voting may do so. But if not shaped carefully, they risk shutting the door on our fellow citizens, our neighbors, our parents, maybe even ourselves. Laws can be precise, but people's lives are tangled things. If Congress moves forward, it must demand, not suggest, but demand that any rule aimed at fraud be matched, line for line, with ways to help honest citizens get what they need. This means making sure birth records can be found without great cost. It means helping folks who lack an ID, veterans in rural towns, grandmothers in crowded cities, young people still finding their place. The test of a good law is not how many it turns away, but how well it brings everyone along. Picture a busy public library on a rainy morning. Citizens gather for help, getting forms, asking questions, hoping for guidance. A staffer explains where to find old records, patient as the line grows. Outside, a flag flutters as the rain lets up. In scenes like these, democracy lives, not in the marble halls alone, but in the ordinary work of helping neighbors, one by one. Americans of every stripe care about fair elections. Some worry more about fraud. Images of stuffed boxes and fake names haunt them. Some worry more about fairness. Memories of poll taxes and locked doors stay sharp. Both worries are real. Both are rooted in love of country. So our duty, mine, yours, Congress's, every citizen's, is not to use fear to tip the scales. It is to seek out the full truth, to measure risks honestly, and to remember that panic can build walls higher than any fence. Let us demand clear public proof, open audits, bipartisan counting, watchful local eyes. As the tools of trust, let us grace every new requirement with help for those who need it, patience for those left behind, and common sense above all. History does not move on its own. It is hauled forward by regular people rising above their fears. Whether this act becomes law or not, the greater test is not what papers are asked, but whether we stand by each other when voices are threatened. America's strength is her unity. If one group demands more security, let them promise also to protect every rightful voter. If one group calls out exclusion, let them offer honest solutions to ghostly dangers. Not all news is black and white. Compromise, that oldest American value, may yet rescue the best in us all. Picture an old man in the pre-dawn dark, walking with a cane to a church basement polling place. The clerk helps him sign his name, shaking hands as old friends. They do not ask about party or birthplace. They see only a fellow traveler, doing what the Republic invites, speaking his mind quietly through the ballot. This is the America I believe in. One where accusations are weighed, not wielded. Where policy bends to mercy and rules grow from both caution and hope. This is the work that saves a republic. Not anger, but patience. Not exclusion, but inclusion and care. So I ask you, people of goodwill, what kind of America will you choose? Will you reach for safety first or extend a hand to pull others along? Will you measure risk in headlines or in ordinary faces, your neighbors, strangers, even those you may never meet? The Republic can be saved. The laws will be debated and redrawn, always. But the deeper work, the unseen work, is yours. It is measured in each act of welcome, each effort to explain and understand. Each day you choose kindness over suspicion. As dusk falls and the flags are gathered in for the night, I wonder, can we be the citizens our ancestors hoped for? Can we hand to our children not just a law, but a living trust? One that says, here, in this hard, promising land, every voice is sacred, and none lightly turned away? That question, my fellow Americans, rests now with you.